Three, two, one.
Okay, so if you've got everything together and you've got everything sanded, the corners should be smooth. Now that's going to take some time and effort. It doesn't come down quickly, but it can all be made smooth to the point that you don't even feel a difference as it comes around the corner. Also, with any of your edges, it's a good idea to slightly round them over. Just take the sandpaper and a few strokes over the edge, gives it a nice feel. It strengthens that edge too, that if it gets bumped with something, it doesn't put a nick. And it is better for when you do get a chance to put finish on things. So do that. It gives it a nice smooth feel and a good finish. Now if you take a look at your block, you probably have 2 nails left over, and that's because I gave you 2 extras. If you bent them or something, that's why I gave you the extras. I didn't mention that earlier. But you'll see that you have 2 screws left also. So the screws are for putting the handle onto your lid. So the lid, and it might be a little tight. If your lid comes out to be tight, you can sand the end, clean it off, sand the surface so that once the handle is here, you won't be able to sand the surface. So get it all sanded before you go and put it together. And check it out so your lid fits into the box. Now if you'll notice, there's holes already in your lid. Again, this is something that we would be doing in the class, but since I know you don't have the drills and the equipment at your homes, the screws are in here ready to go. And if everything works correctly, you're going to screw these on. Now screws are a whole lot different than nails, and sometimes people use the two interchangeably, but look at them and you see there's quite a difference between. Screws have threads that as the screw is turned, the head of the screw pulls into the threads and tightens it in place, where the nails are simply driven in with a hammer. Screws require that holes be drilled, and not just one hole, but technically 3 different holes all in the same place. There's one hole that's large so that the head of the screw will fit into it. This is an ordinary wood screw. Notice how it is. The threads only go so far, and then it's smooth, and then the head. So the bottom side is angled, and that's the first hole that you see right here at the edge. Then there's a portion that is large for the smooth part of the screw so that it will slide in this part. The screw's not really holding on to the first piece of wood. It holds into the second piece, and that's a smaller size hole, but it's still a hole because otherwise we'd be splitting this apart trying to drive a screw into a place where there isn't a hole. You're going to, once you're satisfied that it's sanded, you're going to put your handle on in place. Now finding it, and this is where you need the screwdriver. So if you have a screwdriver in your junk drawer or your utility drawer, or
Mr. Mick, what type of screwdriver?
this one's a Phillips screwdriver. Phillips screws are the ones with the cross head, and that's nice because it holds it down in the center and makes it easy. As long as you push down on the screwdriver, it won't slip out. Old type screws, or the original type screws, had a straight slot in them, and they are kind of going away as time goes on. You want to put the screw in here so that it's just through the wood, just poking through, and then you can find where it goes. You can feel it, and it slides around and it's caught on there, caught on the tips of the screws, and as you turn it, that screw is cutting its way into the handle portion. So now it's just a little bit of turning until it gets down to the point that it's all spread out, and tighten each one equally. Don't go all the way tight with the first one and then go to the second one. Tighten it down and go back and tighten it in place. And if it's on correctly, the handle is nice and tight right along the surface. There's no gap. Okay, so then you've got your handle, you've got your box lid, and you have the project as we can do under these these circumstances.